Hello, this is the Angry Kona guy, and today we're going to be talking about the blind spot monitoring system. So the blind spot monitoring system is interesting. So it tells you when there's a vehicle behind you or in your blind spot, and sometimes it doesn't work. And there's a whole host of reasons why it doesn't work. And people would know that if you read the damn manual. So I'm going to show you. It's about 12 pages long. I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly so you're not watching the video for like an hour as I go through every single thing. So your blind spot monitoring is two radar sensors. They're literally radar sensors that sit in the rear bumper in each corner, in the rear bumper. When it detects something in the blind spot, it illuminates a light on your mirror, a little yellow symbol on your mirror to tell you something is there. Now, even I have a problem. There's a specific road that as I drive home from family's house, that mine always turns off. And it's because there's a high-powered radar station nearby. So it overpowers the radar in the car and turns it off. So there's two ways to fix that. You could either pull to the side of the road, put your hazards on temporarily, turn the car off, turn it back on, and it will reset. The other option is just keep driving. It'll eventually turn back on by itself. It takes a while, but it will eventually turn back on. The other option, really, is learn how to frickin' drive. Use your mirrors. Look. It's not hard. You're supposed to learn this when you take driving school. You know, you're supposed to be doing this anyway, is to look because it's not 100% accurate. And the book explains why. So, 2018 Owner's Manual, Kona. Even says that they're in Korean, which I don't know how to pronounce those symbols other than for the American version. To me, it looks like guy doing a pull-up, circle, helicopter, line, guy under a table, guy in the woods. Not making fun of you guys. You know, everybody has their own characters for their language. That's just how I see it. So first things first, we're going to go to the index. The dreaded index page. Index. Now this is the section I need. I'll take this off so I don't get lost. I'm going to come down to Blind Spot Collision Warning, BCW, page 5-47. BCW, Blind Spot Collision Warning, 548. Detecting Sensor, 552. Limitations of the System, 553. There's 2 pages of that. And the one that's underneath here is brake fluid and rear cross traffic collision. I'm going to get to that at some other time. Eventually, I'm going to tell you about all the systems because nobody reads the damn manual. So, limitations of the system is going to be an important one. So let's go to page 547. That's the very front one here. Blind Spot Collision Warning BCW system if equipped. Now, I have a limited model. It has it. As far as I know, the SCL with the tech package has it. I don't think the SE does for the US models. The limited model is the 1.6 turbo, the SEL is a 2.0, and the SE is a 2.0. But the tech package for this year in 2018 included fog lights, I believe the blind spot monitoring, the roof rails, the option for XM Sirius, whatever you want to call it, satellite radio, the better head unit, and I believe, if I remember correctly, since it's been, 5 years now, the better climate control. So, here we go. So, look, if that's where you are, it'll blink there, kind of. So it's in the back and it blinks in the front, right? So the blind spot collision warning system uses radar sensors in the rear bumper to monitor and warn the driver of an approaching vehicle in the driver's blind spot area. Now, this area is different for everyone, depending on how you have your mirror set up and where you sit in the car, whether the seat's up or all the way on the floor or all the way forward or all the way backwards. Your blind spot's going to be a little bit different. I don't have a blind spot on mine. Where I sit and I adjusted the mirrors properly, I don't have a blind spot. The system monitors the rear area of the vehicle and provides information to the driver with an audible alert and an indicator on the outer side of the view mirrors. Now, this audible alert, I don't hear it on mine. I don't know if I have when I set mine up, if I lowered the volume somehow, Mine doesn't make any noise, it just glows in the mirror. Okay, so BCW warning range varies relative to vehicle speed. Note that if your vehicle is traveling much faster than the vehicles around you, the warning will not occur. That's like how I drive. Closing at speed. The BCW closing at high speed feature will alert you when the vehicle is approaching in the adjacent lane at a high rate of speed. If the driver activates the turn signal when the system detects an oncoming vehicle, the system sounds an audible alert. Now there's this part about the rear cross-traffic collision. We're not going to talk about that at the moment because that's a whole nother kind of iffiness, and that has mostly to do with only when in reverse with the backup camera. Warning, always be aware of road conditions while driving and be alert for unexpected situations even though the blind spot collision warning system is operating. The blind spot collision warning BCW system is not a substitute for proper and safe driving. Always drive safely and use caution when changing lanes and when backing up the vehicle. The blind spot collision warning system may not detect every object alongside the vehicle. You need to know that. Operating conditions. So you know there's a little switch there you turn on and off with. Press the BCW switch with the ignition in the on position. The indicator on the BC switch will illuminate. To cancel, hit the button again. That's really how that goes, and the light will go off. When the system is not used, turn the system off by turning off the switch. Come on, focus. Information. If the ignition switch is turned off and on again, the BCW system returns to the previous state. When the system is turned on, the warning light will illuminate for 3 seconds on the outer side of the mirror. Sorry, my hand's getting tired from holding the phone in a weird way. The function will activate when the system is on. The vehicle speed is above 20 miles per hour. 30 kilometers an hour for those slower folks. An oncoming vehicle is detected in the blind spot area. So you have a first stage alert and a second stage alert. First stage alert, you have the illumination of on the mirrors. So driver side for us in the US, left. Passenger side, right. Once detected the vehicle is no longer in the blind spot area, the warning will turn off. The second stage alert comes with a chime, so it makes a ding noise. Really, really, really low in my car, so again, I don't know if I had changed the volume somehow or screwed with it when I changed the speakers out and such, so I don't know on that one. If the vehicle has been detected in the blind spot area, a warning light will illuminate on the outside of the mirror, and the turn signal is applied at the same time as to where the vehicle is being detected. So for those of us that actually use a turn signal, and I'm going to actually make a video on how to use turn signals because people don't seem to understand how that works. If you use your turn signal and somebody's in the blind spot area and the radar detects it, it's going to give you a noise and a light on the mirror. All right? When this alert is activated, the warning light on the side of the mirror will also blink. If you turn off the turn signal indicator, the warning chime will be deactivated. The second stage alarm may be deactivated. To deactivate the warning chime, oh, see, there is a way to do that. Okay, go to the user settings. Hey, look, I learned something new, and I already read this twice already today. Deactivate the warning chime, go to the user settings, driver assistant, and deselect blind spot collision warning sound on the LCD display. To activate it, do the same thing again. The warning chime function helps alert the driver. Deactivate this function only when necessary. That's rear collision warning. We're not going to discuss that right now. Warning light on the outside of the mirror will illuminate whenever a vehicle is detected by the rear side of the system. Avoid accidents. Do not focus only on the warning. Neglect to see the surroundings of the vehicle. Drive safely even though the vehicle is equipped with a blind spot collision warning system and rear cross traffic. Do not solely rely on the system. You should still check your surroundings. A system may not alert the driver in some conditions, so always check the surrounding while driving, which you're supposed to do anyway. The blind spot collision warning system and rear cross traffic collision are not a substitute for proper and safe driving practices. Always drive safely and use caution when changing lanes or backing up the vehicle. The BCW system may not detect every object alongside the vehicle. The system may not work properly when the bumper has been damaged or if the rear bumper has been replaced or repaired, because you actually need to reset the radars. Especially if you move the radar a little bit, which I did once by accident, and that's made the system all kind of screwy. So found that out the hard way. The sensing range differs somewhat according to the width of the road. When the road is narrow, the system may detect other vehicles in the next lane, or when the road is wide, the system may not detect other vehicles in the next lane. That's kind of vague. What do they consider a narrow road? What do they consider a wide road? So that's a bit vague. The system may turn off due to strong electromagnetic waves. Now the reason for that is radar is an electromagnetic wave. So things that will affect it. Weather radar, like Doppler radar, will affect it. Radar jammers used by the police department will jam it. Military installations will jam it. Parking, have somebody driving behind you with a microwave will jam it. Not a microwave as in food microwave. So anything with strong electromagnetic waves, radio station antennas. So if you have like a 50,000 watt radio like 106.1 BLI in New York, can in fact jam it because it overpowers the system of the stock radar in the car. I don't even live in New York, and I know that one because a lot of people complain about that one. Okay, so your blind spot collision warning sensor locations, they're back there underneath the lights in the back in the bumper. Okay, always keep the rear bumper clean for proper operation of the system. Warning message, blind spot collision warning system disabled, radar blocked. This has a lot of reasons, as I just discussed some of them, and yet there's more. Okay, the warning message may appear when one or both of the sensors on the rear bumper is blocked by dirt or snow or a foreign object. Strangely enough, the bumper is not a foreign object because it sits behind the bumper, but it still gets dirty in there. So once in a while, if you're handy, pull the bumper off and clean them. You could use a Swiffer, like once a year. Driving in rural areas where the blind spot collision warning does not detect another vehicle for an extended period of time. That has also happened to me while I drive for 8 or 10 hours in cross country, not seeing another car for hours. It'll turn off. When there is inclement weather, such as heavy rain heavy snow or rain. Sorry, I'm reading through the phone and it's a little blurry on this end for me. A trailer or carrier is installed. So if you have a bike rack in the back or a trailer, something of that nature, that can actually block it as well. If any of these conditions occur, the light on the BCW switch, and the system will turn off automatically. When the BCW canceled warning message is displayed in the cluster, check to make sure that the rear bumper is free from any dirt or snow. If you decided to do that, you're going to be going outside quite often. But take a look. So usually just before you drive, clean it off, if you're going for a long drive. After any dirt or debris is removed, the BCW system should operate normally after about 10 minutes of driving the vehicle. So you got about 10 minutes. It's not instantaneous. In my experience, it's longer, like 30 minutes in my experience, but it is what it is. If the system still does not operate normally, have your vehicle inspected by an authorized Hyundai dealership and possibly wait 8 to 10 months for them to figure it out. Turn off the system by pressing the BCW switch and deselecting the rear cross traffic alert from the user setting mode in a cluster when using a trailer or carrier behind the vehicle. Right? Check the blind spot collision warning system. If there's a problem with the BCW system, the warning message will appear and the light on the switch will turn off. The system will turn off automatically. Have Hyundai take a look at it. Again, you probably wait for months as they try to figure that out. Non-operating conditions, and this is where there's a lot. The BCW indicator on the outside of the mirror may not illuminate properly when the outer side of the view mirror housing is damaged. The mirror is covered in dirt, snow, or debris. The window is covered with dirt, snow, or debris, and the window is tinted. Now, what does that have to... Why would the window being tinted have any issues with that? Not sure. I've never seen one where the windows are tinted and there was a problem with it. I think they're just covering their ass. Limitations of the system. There's a lot of these. The driver must be cautious of the below situations because the system may not detect other vehicles or objects in certain circumstances. The vehicle drives on a curved road or through a toll gate. The vehicle is turning left or right at a crossroad. The sensor is polluted with rain, snow, mud, etc. The rear bumper where the sensor is located is covered with a foreign object such as a bumper sticker, or a bumper guard, or a bike rack. The rear bumper is damaged or the sensor is out of the original default position. I've already done that once before. Yeah, that's unless you're fiddling with it, taking it off for, I don't know, either having to run some extra lines for lights or something, don't move them. The vehicle height gets lower or higher due to heavy loading in the luggage compartment, abnormal tire pressures. This one's interesting. So if you lower your vehicle, including but not limited to adding weight into the back or lowering springs or coilovers or airbags, you could have a problem with the sensors because then they could read more things closer to the ground and it may trip the system to turn off. Also, lifting your vehicle on blocks or extended springs or coilovers or airbags, again, can have the same effect. You may just see less things thinking that there's a problem, or it's in that same issue where it may not detect anything for a long time, it'll turn off. The vehicle drives in inclement weather such as heavy rain or snow. A lot of you people have that problems with the front sensors and the lane assist sensors. There is a fixed object near the vehicle such as a guardrail, person, animal, etc. Oh, just wait, there's a whole other page of this. The vehicle is driven near areas containing metal substances. That's another weird one, such as a construction zone, railroad, etc. So if there's a lot of metal around, that will screw up the radar signatures. A big vehicle is near, such a bus or a truck. So a bus or a truck should not be in your blind spot because you should see it. It's quite large. A motorcycle or bicycle is near. That's a small object. Might be too small for it to notice that there's something there. A flat trailer is near. The trailer may be in a position on another vehicle that it does not show properly because it might be below where the sensor can read. If the vehicle has started at the same time as the vehicle next to you and has accelerated, so like at a stop sign or a stoplight, it may not notice it. When another vehicle passes at a very fast speed, like how I pass people in traffic, while changing lanes. Well, isn't that the reason for the blind spot monitoring? So you can change lanes safely? But the other car may change lanes in an opposite direction or towards you, and it won't go off because it doesn't have enough time to notice it's there. While going down or up a steep road where the height of the lane is different. We don't have too many of them here in the United States, but there are places in other parts of the world I've driven where one lane will be significantly lower than the other or higher with like a brick wall in between it. That can possibly screw it up as well. When the other vehicle is approaches very close, so those a-holes at tailgate, that's why you may not see them. When a trailer or carrier is installed, they've discussed this 3 times now. When the temperature near the rear bumper is low or high, that's another vague one. I guess if it's really high, it's on fire. If it's low, it's frozen. So yeah, that's a weird one. And it doesn't give me a temperature variance, so I don't know on that one. I haven't seen that come up before. When the sensors are blocked by other vehicles, walls, or parking lot pillars. Yeah, another strange one. When the detected vehicle also moves back as your vehicle drives back. That more has to do with the cross. The heck is it called? The rear cross view. If there are small objects in the detecting area, such as a shopping cart or baby stroller, so small objects will not be picked up by radar most of the time, which makes a lot of sense anyway because they're smaller. It's a small wavelength return, and depending on whatever it's programmed for, may not see it. There is a low height vehicle such as a sports car or lowered car behind you, or near you for that matter. Like if you're driving around in your lifted Kona and there's a lowered Mazda Miata next to you, it may not see it. It probably won't. When other vehicles are close to your vehicle, again, people tailgating or just being douchebags. When the vehicle in the next lane moves 2 lanes away from you, or when the vehicle 2 lanes away moves toward you. When driving through a narrow road with many trees and bushes, there's just a lot of things that it can't pick up fast enough. When driving through a large area with few vehicles or structures around, such as in a desert or rural area. This goes back to if it doesn't detect anything for a long period of time, it will turn off. When driving on wet surfaces, so if it rains or snows, I don't have that much problems with wet surfaces like rain. Where I live, we don't get much snow, but ice, like ice storms, ice is a problem. And that the FCC rules tell you that it won't cause harmful interference. That's about your phone, not your radio. And the device must accept any interference received, including interference that may cause undesired operations. And that's it. So there's a lot of things that will affect your blind spot warning. So keep that in mind. All right? Any more questions? Any more comments? Figure it out. It's in the book. Read it. Goodbye.